By the time I'd arrived at Hazelden, my clinical team was already well prepared for me.
Okay, everybody. This is Michael, 42 years old, successful businessman from Chicago, married, 2 kids, family's intact and supportive.
They'd all studied my case file, crafted a plan for me. They each knew the job roles they would fill in helping me rebuild my life.
He's getting to know his roommates and he seems settled.
Now, they had to help me learn to do my part.
Well, it's still a little elevated, but then it's only your first day here. You've got a lot coming at you.
Yeah, you can say that again. I just feel like there's a lot of stuff that I need to get figured out right now.
All that's important for right now is that you're here. First things first, okay? We're gonna get you started on a medical detox protocol that'll keep you as safe and as comfortable as possible.
Until that moment, I hadn't truly realized how miserable I'd been feeling during this long, dark ride I'd been on that last few weeks. I still wasn't capable of wrapping my head around the fact that I had dragged the people I love along on that ride with me. But I thought maybe I was ready to stop hurting. And as I listened to her, it was helpful to remember that although addiction has its emotional and spiritual components too, it's also a chronic physical disease. And like people with other chronic diseases, I've got to learn how to manage it. Learning how to manage it. Life is all about the choices we make, right? Well, I'd gotten away from what it feels like to make good choices about things as basic as what to eat to get healthy and stay healthy. My addiction and my depression had isolated me. I had to learn that I wasn't in this fight alone, that others were going through the same thing, and that we needed each other for support. And I'd forgotten the simple pleasure that normal human interaction can bring. Simple conversation, fellowship.
Man, anger group today was so intense.
Sure was. And I could tell that some of what you said really connected with people.
Fellowship with the people I went through treatment with ended up being such a huge part of what made it work for me. Peers I could share everything with. People who taught me how to accept a little help when I needed it. And more importantly, how to give it too.
I have to tell you, I'm still a little surprised you didn't share some of the stuff you've told me about one-on-one. Look, hearing that part of your story's been real helpful to me. Maybe other people in that room need to hear it too.
I'd gotten away from what it feels like to just feel good, healthy, energized, positive and hopeful.
I haven't really spent much time thinking even about it.
My spiritual care counselor showed me there's a deep spiritual side to the ability to even experience these feelings. Another whole, rich part of my life that I'd been neglecting. A whole other powerful set of tools I wasn't using. And another thing that made a huge difference for me.
And there's many different ways to deal with depression other than drinking.
My experience at Hazelden was the first time that my depression was addressed right alongside my addiction. The first time anybody said, hey, we're not going to make lasting progress on the one unless we're also making progress on the other. Having qualified mental health care professionals on my team meant one more powerful resource I could rely on to help me learn the healthier thinking and behaviors I needed before I could go from being my own worst enemy to being my own best friend in recovery. And then there's a team member, your primary counselor, whose job is to stay on top of the big picture, to orchestrate the game plan and make sure it's all working like it should.
Well, hey, we had a nice chat with Tom on the phone this morning. He sends his best. We called him to update him on your progress.
What was his significant
The commitment to a real team approach to treatment, to the personalized treatment that they can talk about here, it's not just words. It's how they do business. I'm sure it's not the easiest or the cheapest way to go, but it's the best way. People are complicated, and addiction's a complicated disease. That's why it makes such good sense to put a team made up of professionals from different fields together in order to work out an individual plan for each client. And the teams here are the real thing, made up of true specialists. Not people who have to juggle job roles and wear different hats in order to handle different needs from day to day. Plus, we get the benefit of being connected to a powerful tradition here, the place where that 12-step based model used by the whole field has its roots. In fact, this is where a lot of counselors from other treatment centers have come to get their education or training, giving us our best possible shot at recovery.